Good morning, Orod.
Good morning, Soma. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing? And also, Happy New Year.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Happy New Year to you. I hope you had a good break, and I hope everyone had a good break.
Exactly. That's what we are hoping. And also, Happy New Year to everyone who is listening to us now. I hope, this 2024 will be awesome for everyone out there.
I guarantee that we will do a lot of Kanban episode in this year. So 2024 will be another Kanban year for us.
Yes. And maybe this is also one of our goals for 2024 to help people through our episodes even more.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we had a few weeks break, and we come back with another episode. So
Yes.
how's the weather, by the way, in Sydney?
It's a bit cloudy, but it's going to hit 30 degrees again. So,
Wow.
we are getting proper summer here. How is Melbourne?
We had a few rainy days, but today it's pretty hot. I don't know the temperature, but it's hot.
Hmm.
Who
Well,
knows how long it's gonna stay like that? But
yes,
it's hot at the moment.
well, enjoy as it lasts. So, and I hope this year Melbourne will also get a lot of summer days to go out on the beaches and like enjoy. So, well, that's our weather segment done. So,
Yeah.
I was hoping to ask you today. Have you heard about anything that we can talk about today, like a new topic for New Year? So, is there anything that you would like to share?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In fact, yesterday I was talking to one of my friend, and she asked me, how can I measure my team performance? And I thought that might be a, common question, and a lot of people like to measure teams' performance. That's probably a good topic for the first episode of 2024. So, what do you think about that? What do you think we need to do, or how to measure team performance, especially in Canada?
Hmm. Well, Kanban is all about data. So, like the first thing that comes to my mind whenever it comes to the team performance is that any team that exists, it's all about delivering service to our customer. So if
Mm-hmm,
we're thinking of that, then lead time is the top of the chart that we should
mm-hmm,
be looking at because lead time is what we can think of, delivering value to our customer. Anything that's usable by our customer can be measured through lead time, either it's
mm-hmm,
our system lead time or our customer lead time. So definitely that. So if we can improve our lead time, that will also talk a lot about how we are improving as a team.
mm-hmm.
So that would be my first one. So what's your first on the chart?
So that's definitely a valid metrics, and that's definitely the key metrics in Kanban. But I like to step a little bit back, and that's what I told my friend. I asked her, before you start measuring the team performance, I think we need to, as a team or company, we need to agree what do we want to measure, and what does performance mean, right? So a lot of people, when we talk to them, they say, I was at work
Mm,
yesterday for 5 hours, or I worked 5 hours yesterday, I worked 10 hours yesterday.
mm,
So when someone says I worked 10 hours, that means they measuring time. So I was utilized for 10 hours or 8 hours and stuff like that. And it's a quite common metrics to track how long people been busy.
mm, mm,
So we first step before we start measuring is, what does work mean to us? I think we need to define the definition, define what work means. And after that, we can measure it. If you ask me, the definition of work to me is, as you also mentioned, is to solve a customer problem
exactly.
or deliver something valuable to customers. So customer normally come to us
Mm,
with a demand or request and say, okay, can you do this for me? And that work can be anything.
yeah.
And if we can, and normally customer has a expectation about the work. So they say, okay, I need to do this for me, and I need you to finalize it and deliver it to me by particular time. If we can deliver this work by that time, so we did a good job.
Mm.
If we deliver it after that, then we didn't deliver a good job.
Mm.
So, and that's basically what we call it lead time, right? So when customer requested and when we deliver, it takes time. This time we call it lead time. So I think that will be the first step.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Oh, no, totally. I mean, any team that exists, for them to understand what needs to be measured and why is always the first step. The why is the most important question in here, and also understanding their customer, because the definition of customer will change from team to. Some of them will have internal customers, but
Yeah.
they're customer. So you have to understand who you are serving and why. What do they need from you? So definitely the first step and the lead time. And another thing that I would like to add in here, when you go to other agile frameworks, something that they always try to focus on is that how many work is getting done in a unit of time. So we might call it velocity, throughput, whatever. So when you take that metrics on its own, it doesn't give you a better understanding of the team performance, because you might get through 100 tasks today, but those 100 tasks are not contributing to anything that's valuable for our customer. Then if you think of that, those 100 tasks is actually creating waste in your system. So if you measure only throughput without understanding the lead time and how it impacts the lead time of anything that we are delivering to our customer, then it won't give you the whole picture of how the team is doing and where we can. So same goes for any other framework where the focus is only around, like you are only looking at how many story points or how many tasks are being done in a given unit of time. So that is another thing that I would like to highlight, that some metrics will only be useful or more effective when you combine the data with something else that's out there. And that will help you to understand the whole picture, the big picture, that, okay, what can you do to improve? How can you add more value to your customer or deliver it faster to your customer? What's your take on that?
Yeah, no, that's quite fair. If you track how many works you deliver in a unit of time, you might say, okay, we delivered 100 tasks, as you mentioned, right? But have we delivered them when the customer expected, or we delivered them way after customer expectation, or we delivered too soon? Sometimes we deliver too soon and customer don't care at that time, or after that, right? Again, it has no value. So I think it's quite important to make sure that we deliver the work to the customer at the right time when customer expected. And over time, when we track this, we can go back to customer and say, hey, customer or customers, we delivered 80% of your demand within your expectation. And so that's acceptable. Or we can say, we deliver 20% of your expectation within the time frame that you expect. And that means we're not performing well. And then we need to think about why it happened and what we can do to improve the customer satisfaction, basically.
Definitely. I like it. And also, you mentioned something very important, which I always try to highlight to teams. When you deliver too fast, like before, when it can be used. So that also creates waste in the system. And as a team, when we are trying to understand how we are performing as a team or how our system is performing, this is a very valid data point that we need to keep in mind, that when you have delivered something and that is on the shelf for a longer period of time, that also indicates that maybe there is a problem or there is an improvement required in how you prioritize what needs to be worked on at the moment. Because if something is sitting on the shelf for a longer time before anyone is them to use it, that means that you could have done something more valuable, which the customer could have used at that time. So that's something that, I'm trying to talk to the product owners, especially teams, that, okay, make sure when you start working on something, there is someone to take it and use it. There's a customer waiting for it and they really need it at that time,
Mm-hmm.
because shelf time is also very important, and that data point could help you to prioritize even higher, like highest valuable thing at the moment.
That's right. That will be one of the very common type of waste in the system. You deliver too soon, and the work needs to wait until something else happens, for example.
Yes.
All right, that's good. Another thing I wanted to mention is that so first of all, to calculate the lead time, you basically need three things. One is when the request come to you. Another one is when will be the expectation from customer, and the other one is the when we deliver the work. So from customer requested until delivered, we can track. That's the lead time, and over time we can use that. I understand we can dig into this a little bit, maybe separately. In one of the episodes that we talk about upstream, we differentiated between system lead time and customer lead time. People can look at that or listen to that episode. I think it's episode 10 from memory. So I don't want to really go into that. But another thing I wanted to highlight is that you might have multiple customers, right? You might have, for example, operation, you might have product management and, the CTO and technical lead and stuff like that. So you have different customers. Over time, it will be valuable if you can differentiate the lead time for different customer, because different customer have different expectation. And also you can track and see in one customer, for example, for operation, we delivered 80% within the expectation. But for product management, we delivered 20%, right? So we've done really good job for operation, but we haven't done a good job for product management or business, for example, right? That also can give us more insight about how the team works and what we can do to uh, balance and satisfy all customer, not just focus on one customer and make sure this customer is happy, but everyone else not happy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So differentiation between different customer also will be valuable. And this is basically what we call it work item type, right? Different customer, they have different work item types. So that's another things I wanted to
Definitely.
um, highlight.
And it could also give you more insight around what's missing from the team in the
Mm-hmm.
current post. Because if you are able to satisfy, let's say, 2 out of 3 customer, that means there is something that you could do, or even like assess your system better, that what's not working currently and
Mm-hmm.
what could be done in a different way. Where are the bottlenecks? So those kind of data can actually give anyone a lot of information to make the
Mm-hmm.
right. So these are some of the things for team performance, definitely, that that will help anyone to improve. And again, everything depends on your context, and you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
start with everything that we are recommending here.
Yep.
Start with one data point to start, like just to get an understanding. So if you understand your customer, if you understand the different work item types or the requests they have, and you start tracking the lead time, and some places it's also known as the cycle time. Cycle time
Mm-hmm.
is the system lead time. So I
Yep.
know for sure that in some tools they use the cycle time terminology instead of the lead time, so don't get
Yeah.
confused by that. But if anyone is starting with that, that's a really, really powerful data points or metric to give you a very good understanding of where you stand,
Mm.
what can be
Yeah.
done.
No, that's a really good point. Thanks for clarifying that, because I realize a lot of people confuse what is lead time, what is cycle time, this and that. So that's a good one. Um, so we talk about the benefit. Very quickly, I like to talk a little bit about the challenges to track the lead time. The biggest challenge I have uh, is tools.
Yes.
So, because, if you want to manually track, it's, it's difficult, right? So you really needed tools to help you to track the lead time. And that will be a really big challenge for people. So I would suggest people to have a look and see what's in the market and what tools they can provide to the team to track to give them the right value. Another challenge is to make sure that we use a Kanban board and also move the cards or work on the board um, at the right time, exactly put them on the right stages of the workflow. Otherwise, there is no magic. If you don't use the tools properly, if you don't move the cards at the right time, then you don't get the right data and you don't get the right insight, and you have nothing basically to negotiate with your customers.
The data hygiene. So that's really, really
Absolutely. Yeah.
yes.
Especially if you work in a large organization with multiple teams and stuff like that, that will be challenging. So just a heads up.
Yeah. So I have seen some people using in order to calculate the lead time, they are using the manual means and method that's available, Excel.
Mm.
But you have to start somewhere. Like
Yeah.
maybe wherever you are, maybe you don't have the right tools at this moment, but if you have the right data to go and negotiate, maybe the tool will follow. You can also
Yeah.
negotiate about that. There's a lot of tools in the market at the moment which can actually help anyone to track this
Yeah.
automatically. You don't have to do anything. But again, the intention matters. So
Mm-hmm.
you really want to improve, and these are the few things that's like recommendations, and you can start with that in Kanban, and then there's a lot of things that can follow, and we
Yeah.
can talk about that in a different episode.
Absolutely. So I think it's time to wrap up. But before we wrap up, I'd like to tell everyone that in the next episode, we talk a little bit more about lead time and how lead time can help us to be more predictable and negotiate with the customer to basically set a right expectation as well. So, Soma, do you want to summarize and wrap up what we discussed before we finish this episode?
Definitely. So what I remember from 20 minutes back, we started with that who is our customer, understanding that who is your customer, and also what metrics or data points you want to capture. That's really important to understand and agree on in a team. Once you have done that, so what our recommendation was that you can always start with understanding and tracking your lead time. So it could be system lead time, that's called cycle time, or the customer lead time. That means when your customer have requested for something. And
Yeah.
also when you are tracking your lead time, it's really important to track it based on the work item time or the different requests that you get in your system. So that will give you a better understanding of that, how much time it takes for each kind of work to get completed and what can be done. How can you set the right expectation with your customer? We spoke about the benefits of this, that how this can help you, and also the other metrics that's in there. For example,
Mm-hmm.
throughput velocity, you need to use it in combination with something else so that you get the full picture instead of just focusing on one thing. But we also spoke about the challenges, that's the tools. So some people really might find it like they might struggle to start capturing the lead time. So there are different ways of doing it manually, or you can have any tool that's in the market which will support you with that. But not only this, but also you need to be mindful of maintaining the data hygiene on your board. So whatever board you use, either physical or digital, make sure that you move your cards at the right time, and also they reflect the right stages of the workflow. So this will help you to track and get the right data. So this is what
Perfect.
we have been talking about today. So that was the summary. And also just a reminder, we are going to do an episode on the lead time and how can we utilize lead time to negotiate with our customer in the Kanban world or any world that you are in currently. So we will do mostly a video episode
Yes.
next week. So please stay tuned for that. And well, just thanks to everyone who have been listening. Wish you all a very, very happy new year. And also thanks for all of your support last year. And we hope that you would give us the same support this year as well.
Lovely. Thanks, Soma, and thanks, everyone. I wish you all a very great year and look forward to the next episode. So we
Yes.
come back next week. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Soma. See you later.